Hey, good morning. Good morning. Welcome to our weekly Gains Agency Gains Life call, the Gains Master Huddle. There we go. All right. Okay, sorry. There we go. There it is. Hey, there's the calendar. A week out from wishing happy Veterans Day to our veterans. I guess 8 days technically. So last week was a 5 week turn in month. This is a 4 week. Turkey Day is almost here. How fun is that? So take a look at that. If you have any questions, hit up your upline or replay this call. How's that? All right, so here's the calls that are led by some of the folks on the team. The elevate forward, which kind of is a cool analogy, right? Elevate forward. It's a really diverse call as far as the topics that they cover. I have not had a chance to jump on, but I know that Tim and Jeff are doing a fantastic job there. Last week was the FIF and resets call, so that means we're skipping a week. So next week will be the next one. Hit up Mr. Cucciara if you have any questions. Symmetry Fall Tour. Hey, I heard that the Dallas, Texas was awesome, and they're off to a great start. So kudos to you that joined. If you are going to be joining the Phoenix
Right.
tour this week, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I wasn't talking to you, quiet. I was talking to Lincoln, but I was gonna say, I think Tim Romero was at the Dallas tour. I don't know if anybody else was, but I didn't know if maybe Tim could just give us like was it worth it? Takeaway? Like, what do you think, Tim, real
Yes,
quick?
please.
It's always worth it. Yes, especially when you get to um, put some names and faces together and you get to meet people that you wouldn't normally get to meet in person. So I got to meet Dylan Crane and I got to sit next to Danny Young for the whole thing, which was nice. And you get to hear, people's success stories, how they got into this business, whether on purpose, on accident, where they started, whether they, had lots of money in the bank or they were $500,000 in debt. There's a whole range of beginnings in this business, and it's great to hear that you're not alone. Everyone has a starting point, and no matter where you are, there's someone up on that stage that had it worse than I did, and then you did when they decided to jump into this business. So it was great to hear, great to experience, and great to see a lot of people. So Summer Friesen was there, Holly was there, so it's nice to kind of be able to network with some of the people that are in our larger group and actually have some conversations. So it was great. Definitely worth it.
Fantastic. So sounds like it comes highly recommended. Throw a one in the chat if you're planning on attending the Phoenix tour, and there can be some connections there. Cool. Okay. Hey, welcome to Anya Laura, direct to Mr. Jeff Lipson. Anya, we're glad that you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
And production milestones. Wow, 158. Oh my gosh, 150 grand APV for Mr. Jeff Lipson and 150 applications for Tim Coates. Wow, guys, that's the way to lead. That's a lot of dollars and a lot of applications. Great work and a lot of hard work. Goodness. All right, so last week we had 11 riders. One of those was new, just under the $40,000 mark. Year to date, we're at 1.151, and everyone has participated in that. And that's pretty awesome to see. So 41 riders, 27 of them new, 542.6 and 608.7 between Jennifer's base and the K2 base. Great job, guys. That's a lot. New riders. Oh, wow. Hey, Michaela, good job. First app, new rider, direct to Jeff Lipson. Way to go. First one's the best one. All right, so 2025 direct new riders. This you can see this breaks down all the way from 1 to 10. Ainsley, Morgan, Mr. Kellebrew all have one new rider. Romero, Jennifer have two. Lipson has four. Mr. Coates has six new riders. Kyle and Kristen, double digits, 10 new riders. That's what it's all about. What you focus on grows. So we skipped the five. What happened to the 5K? Oh, we're just going 10K. Lipson, 11.5. Kristen, daughter number two, KP 11-1. Great job. Wow, that's awesome. Jennifer Gaines Base Shop, 6 riders, 1, you can see, right? Everybody can read. Almost 19,000 in submit. Lipson up top with 11.5 with 5. Monique, great job, 3,300 with 3. Tim 1 with 1,100. Jennifer 1 with 1,000. Jason, Michaela, and Stacy. Oh, Stacy. Good job, Jason, Michaela. Stacy with the reset. Word. Oh, first app and a reset. Are you kidding me? Great job, Stacy. That's almost like free money, I think I've heard. Great job. Colin, Kristen, Base Shop, 5 riders, 15 apps. Submit, $20,154. Brian with 510. Daniel 2 with 1,000. Lonnie, oh, capital R reset, 3,000 APV. Gabrielle with 4,400. Kristen, double digits with 10 for $11,177. Great job, y'all. Great job. Jeez, oh. Gains Master week 5. So it's a 5-week turn-in month. 152,000 APV for the month. I think that's a record, if I remember that right, in the Gains Master Agency. Great job. We're going to see how this all breaks down. Wow, look at this. 20. The font gets smaller like with each column. So I guess we're on to the third column. It's going to be even smaller, right? Great job, y'all. All right, 100 families served. Kuchiara is still at the 103, and then we've got everybody else up top there. I'd say that there's some folks that still have the opportunity to break 100 because we've got 2 full months left. There's some that are going to be nipping on the heels of 100. And the cool thing about this, y'all, is even, yeah, there's the stars and all that, but what I noticed about this, it's almost 1,000 families served in 2025. That's somebody, you never know what that's going to do for somebody when disaster strikes, right? So good job to every single person on this list. Okay, future agency owners. 5 teams are on the road to ownership. Team Kuchiara, Coates, Romero, Lipson, and Kellebrew. How does this look? Let us see. Kuchiara's 2, almost $40,000 submit for the month. Mr. Coates, 3 riders, and the Coates group, $33,000. Great work. Mr. Romero, 6 and 32,000 APV submit. And look where this comes from. Mr. Lipson Life Group, 6 riders, 3 new with 32,000 submit. Great job to all 6 of you. Wonderful work. Mr. Kellebrew, 2 riders and $1,500 in submit. Good job, both of you. The grade 8, what are our 4 cornerstones? Belief. We got to believe in us, believe in each other, believe in our product, believe in the company is the root of our foundation, right? So massive action, constant correction. What does that mean? Just what it sounds like. Massive action and constant correction. So everything comes with action, and we're always looking to get better at everything we're doing. Personal development. What did you listen to this morning? What did you read this morning? What put a smile on your face when you were thinking of your gratitude list this morning? Association. Who did you hang out last week with last week? And that, what is that? What's that saying? Show me your friends, I'll show you your future. Who you hanging out with? 4 keys, resources. Do you got them? Do you got what you need to get your job done? Do you have a system? Can you plug yourself in or plug people into your system? Activity, just like we talked about, massive activity, right? Constant correction. Activity and then schedule. You got to put it on your schedule or it's not going to happen. I can speak that from experience. Oh. All right. Chase the contract. Type in what you're chasing. So what do we have? Key leader, team leader, agency owner. We've got folks all over the map. What do you or are you trying to hit that slingshot bonus? Some of you. Type it in there. I always love to see what everybody's chasing after, which is kind of fun. Because this is a new month. It's a new, what is it? It's a new world. It's a new life. It's a new, anyway, new month. Here we go. Put it in there. Oh, Ignite. Scan this if you need to with your phone. I'll leave it up for half a second. Y'all, if you want to catch the vision, and Mr. Romero talked about it just a bit with that fall tour, you want to catch the vision. You want to catch the heart of who we are, of what we do, of the life that we live and lead. Ignite is a great way to do it. So Uh, you heard Romero talking about networking and putting faces with names and hearing stories and all those types of things. This is where you catch that. And if you want to know what butts in seats means, so if you look at if you happen to have 15 people there, you're aiming for a 105 all the way through 30, 45, 100. So you want that 130? Here's your goal. Here's your goal. Here's your goal. And it can happen, y'all. I've watched it happen in real time with specific people, and it's pretty cool to watch. Those are very, very doable and very attainable. Hit up your upline if you need tickets. Okay, here's the connect calls. And you've got the links. They're also at the top of, I think I figured that out last week, right? At the top of the channel. And hook up with those people. Okay, Kristen. I think that's it, right? Okay, I'll stop sharing somehow.
Lovely. Thanks for doing those.
Yes,
I'm not
ma'am.
going to sing to you guys like Kevin does, but maybe. I've had a lot of coffee and I'm also freezing cold. So if my teeth are chattering, that's why. But today we are going to talk about the most exciting topic possible, which is issue paid and writing strong business. But it's one of the most important things we can talk about in this business. So we're excited to kind of dive in, pull the curtain back on some realistic numbers that we've had across the team this year. And then we'll hear from one of the very best when it comes to issuing strong business, our fearless leader, Jennifer. And we'll kind of dig into that. So that's where we're going today. We're calling this call Protecting Families and Providing for Yours. All right. So, why is this important? Why are we talking about issuing strong business, issue paid percentage, all of this? And the reason this is important, you guys, is truthfully, your clients are not actually protected. We are not doing our job until we get an application across the finish line. So, first and foremost, we talk a lot about the clients coming first. That's what we mean by this. So, making sure we're writing an application, yes, but making sure it's approved, getting across the finish line, and within our client's budget. So, that's number one. Number two, we are not all getting paid for the time we invest with these clients until that gets across the finish line as well. So just keep that analogy in your brain, like keep going, don't quit before the finish line. And that means we're getting business across the board there. And then for our new friends, you might be wondering, what is your issue placed percentage and how would I go about calculating that? So feel free to screenshot this if you need to take some time with it, but it's basically an equation and it's just the APV that you write divided by the APV that actually gets approved and the client makes that first payment. That's how that is all calculated every single month. And then more importantly, you guys, that's how our promotions are calculated. So we just all threw in the chat, we're chasing contracts, we're chasing contracts. It doesn't matter unless we're tracking that. We need to know if we're going to hit our promotions based off of what's actually counted by corporate, which is going to be this issue place number for you. And then obviously our goal is always to be as close to 100% as possible, but we know with this business comes declines, people that, back out and change their mind, those types of things. And that's just a part of the business. But I do know that corporate pushes out the standard, which I believe is like 70% or higher. So if you need a metric to have in your brain to kind of gauge where you're at, that's why we do the issue place slide every month to celebrate the agents on our team that are 65% and up, because that's really what corporate's saying, like, hey, you want a profitable business, really should be getting at least 70% of the business you write across the finish line. So that's that. We wanted to, be transparent with you guys and kind of break down where we as an agency sit year to date as both a master and as separate base shops. So, sure, Jennifer's base is a little behind our base this year, but they definitely have placed a bit more. So what really matters, you guys, like when we say submit is for show, issued is for dough, this is really where those numbers play out and pan out. So, as a master year to date, and I will say we're a little ahead of where we were last year as a master by maybe like 5 or 6% on average. So, we're at 59% placement rate. Not bad, but could be better. So that's kind of the point of this call is just recognizing that we definitely have a lot of areas of improvement in this category. And it's really a team effort because everybody on this screen counts towards this. So Jennifer's base shop is sitting at 63%, and then the K2 base is sitting at 55. So I would love to see us get above 70 as a master by the end of this year. And we really believe that that's possible. So we're going to get into some practical parts of just how to make some refining types of changes, not anything drastic, but just some refining so that we can, first off, get more money in your guys' pockets, especially with the holiday season. And then secondly, get that placement up so we know with confidence we're serving clients as well as we know this team can. Um, so we are going to, this slide might be a little much, but Jennifer, I would love to have you kind of unmute and break this down with me because these are real numbers, you guys, from the team just in random months this year. And we wanted to give you that kind of behind the curtain view because you guys don't get to see this stuff until you hit agency owner on a bigger scale. And I think it's really important just so you guys see like, okay, yeah, we submitted 137 or 135,000 as a team, but what placed?
Mhm.
88%. And that's really different. So it's just kind of clarifying expectations and understanding of if you're going to be running a profitable business here, what to take into account. So Jennifer, is there anything else you want to highlight on these for us?
Yeah, so so basically, if under the submitted business, like normally there's an agent's name next to that, to the left of that. Obviously, we wanted to be transparent, but we didn't want to
Expose.
expose, that's the word. We didn't want to expose anyone, right? So submit business, like those, it could be Gabriella, it could be Tim, likely those are something there is your number, right? And again, they're random months. We just wanted to be super random. But yeah, it's like just transparency and going, okay, submitted is X, but what did they actually issue? I mean, it's kind of a funny thing in the insurance world where we really talk about like the submit number is always the one that's kind of like at the forefront. But it's really what is getting issued, what is placing. And that's why we want to bring just this to everyone's attention because we could submit business all year long. And if only 40% of it is getting issued, it's just not enough. And so like just collectively, like we want to do better. Like Kristen put, the topic of the call, just like getting people protected and, putting, money like in our families' pockets. Goodbye, guys. I love you. But anyway, the percentage there, as you see, like sometimes it's a little off. So the middle one there, somebody submitted 4,400, but they actually issued 8,200. So it's 185%. Like, how does that math? That means that in whatever month that was, they did submit 4,400, but there was probably there was carryover that was submitted the previous month that didn't issue until the next month. So maybe they wrote several applications the last few days of the month, and so they didn't get approved, and the client didn't pay until we were already in like that current month that we're looking at. So that's why it looks a little off. Ideally, we're going to submit business and get it issued all within the same month in a perfect world. But that's never going to happen for all of us, most likely. So anyway, 70% is the standard, like Kristen said. So the cool thing is there's room for improvement for all of us. And we're going to kind of talk about how we're going to do that.
One other thing I wanted to clarify around, for example, that middle column, the top one, that 8,208 counts towards the month it places for promotions.
Mhm.
So if I wrote a monster app this month, it doesn't get approved and placed till December. It actually counts for your December promotions, even though it was submitted this month. So just know that. And that's why if you are tracking, this is really important stuff to know, because that can be the difference of a slingshot for you guys or a really big promotion you're working really hard towards. So it's not that it doesn't get counted. You just need to know when it will be counted so you can account for it, essentially. But that's a lot of numbers. If you want to sit with that more, feel free to screenshot these and just, I don't know, whatever you want to do with them.
Well,
Thank
and one other thing real quick too, like this report's what we call snapshot comes out every single month.
Yes.
And we would love for each one of you to come to us and say, so the agency owner has the report, right? So Kyle and Kristen have one for their agency, and then I have one for the base. We would love for you to say, what's my issue paid this month? Because that's going to give you a really good idea of kind of how you're doing. You should be keeping track of it on your own, of course, but you know, we should all want to know this number.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's like this false reality,
Yeah,
you
totally.
know? So, yeah, and I wanted to emphasize like this may not be the most exciting topic. It definitely is not, but it is probably one of the most important topics that we all really get a ton of clarity around. If you are, a leader here, and you're working a team leader, a key leader, working towards agency ownership, it is extremely important for you to begin understanding this and begin being able to talk about these numbers with your team.
Totally, totally, totally. Oh my goodness, my picture did not load. Let me go back real quick. Oh, well, how lame. I'll kind of present this one from this view for you guys because this is important in a really, really practical way to just be like, okay, I know my issue numbers have not been awesome. Where do I even start? And we would love to encourage you guys to write the two carriers that get issued the most. We have so much data behind this, you guys. It's not that we just like secretly love AmAm or Moo. But actually, it's not a secret. We do love them because we do get our business across the finish line with them. So, yeah, honestly, I am in love with them too, Gabs. And then another couple reasons why is AMM has an incredible risk assessment chat. And as we all know, getting business across the finish line has a lot to do with getting that policy approved for our client and getting them paired with the right coverage. So, especially as you are new in this business, use that risk assessment chat and really get in the habit of calling carriers because you can, if you just pick two carriers, these two have everything any of your clients would need, with maybe the exception of like core bridge for like a really, really unhealthy client that needs AIG core bridge. But for the brunt and majority of your business, look to AmAm and Mutual of Omaha. And if you need help understanding what products to go with, we've got all the resources around that too, you guys. So if that seems weird to you because you're like, I joined this company because I wanted to have access to a ton of carriers and I wanted to, make sure I get my client the very, very best thing, we're gonna talk more into that. Because I remember feeling a little bit like that when I started. Like, why would I only look at these two if I could beat the price with SBLI or go fully underwritten with Transamerica? But I can promise you, those policies will never see the finish line. And it's honestly just a little bit of a disservice to your clients sometimes when we know we can get them approved with a product like this. So don't get cute, says Jeff. Yeah. Yeah, I tried to be cute this month in like full transparency. At least, 6,000 of that 30 that I had on the board declined with Transamerica because I did something I'd never done and went fully underwritten. And so that's just, it is what it is. You have to learn your lessons here. But if we could encourage you in any way, it would be stick to these two carriers. And we're going to unpack a little bit of the why. So before I get into that, Tim, I see you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I just wanted to mention, so American Amicable also has a feature on their Dignity Solutions product, which there's different levels like graded or immediate, and you can select that your client will accept a or consider a policy that other than what is applied for. And then rather than getting declined, they'll give you the opportunity, hey, we can't approve your client for this, but we could approve your client for that, which is great. The other thing is at the end of submitting the app, they will ask questions. What is your client taking XYZ medication for? And those are hints and clues, which are very powerful about having to pivot to another carrier, possibly. Whereas with some carriers, you'll just get declined, and when you ask why, it could be a fishing expedition to find out going through the MIB and whatnot. So love that feature of AMM. Just wanted to point that out.
Yeah. Yeah. Glad you said that, Tim. And yeah, especially coming from you. You are always on that issue paid board, Tim. So when we do that every month, you guys take note of whose face you see on the wheel spin because those are agents on our team who are doing this really, really well. Like Monique, Miss Monique was over 10K placed last month, and I wanted to shout that out because it's a really, really big deal. And that just means you're serving your clients with excellence, and same with Tim, which makes sense because he's your fearless leader. But anyways, just a quick plug for Monique and Tim. Um, cool, you guys. As we all know, Jennifer can really submit some business. Obviously, in recent years, she's actually scaled it back, even though she's one of our top producers and had really just a career here in the start of only producing. And when I say only producing, she was really producing like 20 appointments every week without fail. She will tell you that, always had a standing lead order. Really, probably could have been a top producer if that was even a thing at that point. It wasn't even a title that Symmetry had as an option back then. But without fail, I know that you were submitting, between 15 and 20,000 a month consistently and placing a lot of that business. So over her career, you guys, she has submitted 1.4 million in APV and placed 1.1 million in APV. And as you guys know, the higher that number gets, the harder it is to keep that issue place percentage high. And she still is well over the corporate standard. And what's really fascinating is I had her pull snapshot numbers so I could take a dig into what carriers submitted the most of that business. You guys, Mutual of Omaha and American Amicable represent right around 1 million of that. And I think Kyle and I did the math, and 83% of that was also issued. So that's a lot of numbers. I know that. But what I want you guys to know is that this is really, really impressive. And when we're going to dig into these questions, Jennifer, of all people, has seen so many people attempt to have a high issue rate, and she herself has done it really well. So we want to spend some time and just, pick your brain, Jennifer, on this topic. And I have some questions for you for the team. So
Cool.
first off,
Great.
round of applause for Jennifer because
Thank
she's
you.
amazing.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
That's so
we're so lucky to get to learn how to produce well from you. So thank you.
fun. Thank you, Kristen.
Yes. So my first question for you, Jennifer, is when you started, what was your mindset around placement and getting your policies issued?
Good question. So a lot of you have heard this too, but when I first started, I was told get really good with one carrier and know them kind of inside and out. I found at the time that Mutual of Omaha had everything that I was looking for. So on the product side, they have term, whole life, accidental death, critical illness. They had return of premium back then on their term, but so that was always an option for people to get their money back. Now they've kind of canceled out return of premium, and they replaced that with the instant issue universal life, the Index Universal Life Express, IULE. They also had all of the living benefits that were attractive to people. Some carriers don't include critical illness as like a standard. Mutual of Omaha did. American Amicable had it, but you did have to add it in. So the living benefits were huge. The majority, well, I'll say this, the majority of our team is working mortgage protection leads. Back when I started, for many, many years, all we had was mortgage protection. Mortgage protection is going to be best served. Most of your clients will use a term or a whole life product most of the time. The IULE is going to be nice from Moo if you are wanting to offer a return of premium option. Mutual of Omaha IULE is not designed for retirement savings. That's not what that product should be used for. It is used for, in my opinion, return of premium. I don't even mention to them borrowing from the universal life. It's not even a conversation that we have, even though technically they could do it, but it's not a good idea with that product. So just you can use it as a return of premium. So I wanted to get very, very comfortable with the carrier's underwriting, their applications, and really working with their underwriters. So it's kind of cool when you call to do a risk assessment, or with AmAm, you're doing the chat, and like you start recognizing these names. Like, so you start recognizing, and then when you're calling or you're chatting with them, guess what? They start to know you. And that's really important, because as time goes on here, they're going to get an application from me and they're going to go, you know what? This might have been a little bit like, not a gray area. Gray area is not what I'm looking for, but like a question or whatever. And they're going to look and go, oh, that's Jennifer Gaines that wrote that. We know that she submitted a ton of solid business, and we're going to push that through. Now there's instant issue stuff, like there's instant decline, instant, like, so you have to learn all of that. But when it goes to underwriting, right, when further review, those underwriters are going to be looking at what you submitted, and they're going to go, hey, that Tim Coates, that Gabrielle, that Monique, like, they have submitted a bunch of business with us, and we know that we can count on them to know what they're doing. So we're pushing that through. So those were some of the things that were really important. Just a couple other things to add. You have to find those products that you believe in. So with our, 4 cornerstones, believe in what you're selling. I got on board with Mutual of Omaha, and out of that $1 million, $700,000 is with Mutual of Omaha. 300 with AmAm, which is the next closest one. So that was my carrier. You have to find yours, basically. So like, I loved and still love Mutual of Omaha. So I just went all in with them and just got really, really good. Sometimes their premiums can be a little bit higher, but guess what? There got to be a point where I didn't even check prices with other carriers. I knew that if I could get someone approved with Mutual of Omaha, based on their health, their age, and all the things, that's who I was going with. No question. That's what I was doing, because I believed in all the things that I just told you guys. I believed in them, their value, their name recognition, and that's what sealed it for me. So I believed in them, and that's who I went with.
I love that.
Did that answer your question?
Oh, yeah.
Probably quite long-winded.
Answered it and more. But I do have one follow-up question to what you said, because I think we need to go back to this. You said term and whole life will account for the majority of your clients, especially if you're working mortgage protection. So my question would be, did you ever write, anything outside of term and whole life when you started? Or when did you start adding in like advanced markets products? Or I'm just thinking of the new agent. Like, should they be trying to write an advanced market product right away? Or what percentage of your business would you say is term, whole life, accidental death?
Yeah, the only other one I wrote was accidental death.
Mm-hmm.
That was it. So I didn't write an IUL. I maybe wrote a couple in the first 5 years. Maybe. I didn't write them.
Okay.
I just did. I didn't. That was just kind of my choice. One, that was not how I was serving the clients. It was all term or whole life or accidental death.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't, at the time, it was a little bit of a different business too. We didn't get into like, hey, we didn't have ways to serve them with retirement products. Like as far as like, hey, you've got an old 401k. I've got, an SME that can talk to you about protecting like that. That just wasn't our conversation.
Sure.
So like what I will say, guys, the fact that we have SMEs now and we can like reset to that person is phenomenal. And I want all of us to be doing that. But remember, on these mortgage protection leads and even the life insurance, like keep the main focus. That's the focus. Why did they reach out to us? Mortgage protection or life insurance? Let's take care of that first. That's why they called us or that's why they reached out. And then through different, parts of your meeting with them, whether it's during the meeting, at the end of your meeting, the post-sale follow-up, like that's when we're going to really dig in and find these other like golden opportunities that we have today to reset to a Daniel, to a Jeff, and other SMEs. Like that's what we want to be doing, but take care of the first thing first. Don't My encouragement would be don't get into like asking all these questions about retirement or getting out of debt when we're just trying to protect the mortgage in case that, spouse doesn't come home tomorrow. That's the most important thing in a mortgage protection meeting. Take care of that first. Then we get to talk about all the other stuff.
Love it. Yeah. And I would say, guys, if you have found that your brain doesn't quite know how to put a program like that together or how to guide the conversation in a way that would represent what Jennifer just said, like reach out to your upline and refine that part of your script because that is the symmetry system. And then thank goodness we have the SMEs to kind of handle that more complicated stuff if it makes sense for the client. So love that. And then my next question was, what do you think separates agents who have a great placement from those who maybe struggle with it a bit?
Mm-hmm. Very good question. Starts on the phone, right? That's where it starts. So asking like really complete questions around a diagnosis, date, when were they diagnosed with something, what medications are they taking, when were they last treated? Talking about their beneficiaries and like why it's important, all that kind of thing. I find that when we get a surprise during the application, like sometimes we get a surprise, right? And it's like, oh
Mm-hmm.
crap, they didn't mention that at first, and now you have to make a decision. Do you just keep running with that application, even though you've gotten a gut check and you know it? You've gotten a gut check that's like, crap, this may not work out. And you know it, like we know it. We know when that happens.
Especially
And
with Moo because it'll say not favorable. Like I love
stop,
that
like
button.
it's probably not going to work out.
Do not
But
proceed.
right. And so but like we feel me too. We got them. They said, yes, we're in the application. Let's keep going. And it's just so much better, you guys, to stop what you're doing, talk about it some more, hop into the like casework channel. Like you can pause right there and say, I'm going to reach out to the underwriting team. I'm going to ask you to hold for just a few minutes. I'm going to reach out to underwriting. It could be 8 o'clock at night. Who's underwriting? Your upline, casework, 911, call, text, casework, whatever. They think you're talking to like the underwriting team at Mutual of Omaha. Well, they're not. They're in bed. but you've got a group. This is why our team works so well, because we're all here, like people are paying attention to the casework channel. So use it. So yeah, one of the the dangers is just continuing on with that application. I can promise you, you're going to be better off if you pause and check on it. If it's during the night, like an evening, say you've got to circle back tomorrow, or get it as far as you can without it going through, right? And then you say, I'm just going to check one thing with underwriting tomorrow. And then once you get the clarification, then you can put it through. So that's one of the.
You lose clients by doing that, Jennifer?
I mean, there is a risk, but when your client knows that you are going to work for them and they know that goal number one is getting your family protected and getting you approved.
Yeah.
And I don't want to have a decline for you. So we're going to do everything we can ahead of time to make sure this policy will issue without any hurdles, right?
Mm-hmm.
The other problem is that if we do get a decline, we don't follow up on it. There are literally people that will just walk away, leave it alone. Oh, got declined. Some people won't even tell them. They'll just get the letter in the mail. That's terrible. How many of you have actually called a client and go, well, I applied for this, but I never heard back from the agent? I'm sure some of you, yeah. And you're like, what the heck? Really? Someone would actually do that? Yep, all the time. So please don't be one of the people that does that. That is not fair to our clients. And so following through on declines, making sure we get them issued. Also, things that people forget about or kind of maybe pay less attention to, things that will trip you up, disability. So if someone is on disability, you really need to dig into that. If they are on full disability, Social Security or VA, and they are not working and you're trying to write term, most of the time it's not going to go through. The one exception is Mutual of Omaha, if it's their neck, back, and knee or something like that. So you've got to know about that. Disability can trip people up with term. Also, DUIs and felonies. So again, do not try to push that application through. It's just not going to, most likely, it's not going to work out. So, trying to think.
You're covering so many good things.
Is there anything else
Well, you talking, I want you to, everything on this topic I have learned from you. So it's reminding me of other things you've taught me around this. One of those being, how do you word the pivot? So let's say you tried your very best and it came back as a decline. How do you approach that with the client? Because obviously we don't want to leave them hanging, but what would you do with that situation?
So in the meeting, number one, do not ever use the word decline.
Yes.
Don't use the word decline.
Write that down.
It's just how would we each feel if somebody said, you've been declined? They're going to feel like I suck. What's wrong with me? So don't use that word. You're going to want to use that ended up just not being the right, product or carrier. So just depending on what the situation is, if it's the wrong product, but the right carrier, because AmAm said we can't do term, but we can do Dignity Solutions. Then, it was, we didn't have the right, we didn't apply for the right product. Something came up. Don't ever make them feel bad. There's just, blame it on the carrier. There's just something that, they typically, they typically kind of flag, it's just one of those things. But the great news is we have so many wonderful carriers and, we've got other options. My other recommendation too is, like, I guess like during your meeting, if you're in the meeting and it comes back declined, like you get an instant thing and it comes back declined, and you really don't know what the pivot is. Like if you don't know in that moment, don't tell them that it's been, not been approved. If you don't know what the pivot is and it's just not going to work out for you to move to something during that meeting, just let them know that as soon as you hear back from underwriting and get, the decision, you'll be reaching out to them. Ideally, you're going to have a pivot during the meeting, ideally, and you'll know before it was actually declined that you're going to have to pivot. But just be very aware of the language that you're using, because that's going to probably make or break the situation. And if you just let them know, again, even before you apply, the great news is we've got lots of insurance companies. So if there's anything that comes back where it's not going to work out with this carrier, the great news is we've got so many options, and we'll just apply with a different company. So set that up ahead of time. They know that you're going to work this through to the very end. Tim Coates, you're excellent at this. Like you are just excellent at following through with your clients, which is just, yeah, I've been really impressed with that.
The hard head.
Well, they say the fortune is in the follow-up, and that is so true.
That's true. That's true.
It's so
yeah.
true.
And I think back, like Tim, I mean, you were so thorough with your underwriting at first. You spent so much time. I remember actually telling you, don't spend so much time, Tim. But the good thing for you, Tim, is you learned so much. I mean, you were like a student of underwriting, and you have continued to do that, which is cool.
And if you allow it to be, like underwriting can become really fun because it's kind of like a puzzle once you know what to
Totally.
look for. And at first I was like, what is this gigantic matrix of things? And now you're like, I know right where to go, and it makes more sense, but just takes a little time.
And the bigger deal that we make something with the client, like if we make something that's not approved, if we make that a big deal, then it's going to be a big deal to them. So,
one more thing on that I wanted to add is have a solution before you call your client. Don't call and be like, well, wasn't a good fit. I'll have to go back to the drawing board. Like, come to them and say what Jennifer said, and then have a solution prepared and ready to immediately say, I will rewrite this and send you the signature in 5 minutes. If there's anything that is different on this application, I'll let you know. But it's very seamless. So come to them with a solution. And again, you guys, like that's why it's cool that we're brokers, because we are not pigeonholed to one thing. We do always, always have a solution for our clients. So love
and
that.
use things like, great news, like we have another option. Great news.
It's always great news.
Great news.
It's great news.
Great news. You got declined with that carrier. You didn't say that.
Great
but
news.
Great news.
Yeah.
We found another one.
Yeah. Keep it positive. It's good. I know we're not going to get through all these questions, so I'm kind of picking and choosing, but the one I want to talk about that we haven't really is how do you set expectations with clients during your appointment to reduce cancellations? I want to touch on that just a little bit, but that's part of issuing strong business is, half is approvals, half is this going to fit in my client's budget, and are they going to keep it? So as much as you want to get into it, would love to hear that.
Okay. I mean, definitely just talking through why they want this. What is it going to be like if your family doesn't have this? That is going to be the biggest thing, because then you can always go back to, if they call to say, we're just strapped financially 6 months down the road, we're not sure we can keep this. Well, I remember so-and-so when we met that you had told me that if something happened to Bob, Susie, it would be really difficult for you to keep the home. Like, has anything around that changed? Okay, no, like it would still be a big financial struggle. Yeah, okay. Um, let's do this. Here's what we can do. Lower the coverage, or like whatever the options are. But in the meeting, it's just important that you, one, are applying for something they can get approved for, that you're not like overselling them on coverage and making sure that it fits the budget. As you look at these two options, Kristen, if money aside, like what option makes you feel the most comfortable? Okay, Kyle, Kristen said option 3 makes her feel most comfortable. What would make you feel most comfortable? Now he says it. So now they've both said it. Ask them separately, individually. Okay, now guys, let's talk about budget. Let's be super realistic here. What fits the budget the best as you look at these options? So once you've kind of got that buy-in, now it's around really letting them know that this is their policy that they are in full control of. As time goes on, you may need to increase coverage. As time goes on, there might be a time when you need to lower the coverage. You and I are here to work together. Like, we are partners in this insurance policy. If you need to make a change with anything, update the withdrawal date, you let me know. I am your person of contact when it comes to this. Tim Coates would say, I am your insurance agent for life. Invite me to dinner, like whatever you need. He does such a great job with that. But, they need to know that you guys are partnered together for the long haul, and that they should call you if they need to update anything with their insurance. Like, that avoids them calling the carrier and saying, I need to cancel because, I got an extra bill and I don't know how I'm going to pay that extra bill. Like, have them call you. One of the other solutions, I guess, to utilize is writing multiple applications. So if you can write a term product, right? If you can go 300,000 on term and a 50,000 accidental death policy, or 100,000 accidental, use it as one package. Now, if they did call to cancel because budget wise they're, freaking out, they might have to lower the coverage on the term or drop it all together, but still keep the accidental in place. That is one option to do as well. So kind of combining and creating, structuring. I use the word structure a lot. I'm going to structure a program for you. I actually had a client the other day say to me, she was like, I didn't know what you meant on the phone when I booked the appointment. She goes, I didn't know what you meant about structuring a program. I didn't know what structuring meant. Then in the meeting, when I talked with her about structuring the program, and I went over how we were putting it together, term, whole life, some accidental, whatever it was, she was like, now it makes sense.
Mm,
So that was kind of cool.
that's good.
Did I answer that question? I'm not sure I totally did.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. There's one phrase and verbiage that I learned, I think, from Venus. If anybody knows Venus, she's over in Scott's agency, but she would say, this coverage is like a shield.
Mm.
So we need to make sure that we have enough coverage to protect your family. But if that coverage or that shield becomes too heavy, we don't want it to be too heavy for your budget that you have to set it down and leave you with nothing. So when we look at these options, keep that in mind. This needs to be a balance of both for you. Make sure we have enough, but it's not going to become a burden. Needs to be a blessing. And then go into the options as well. Make it okay for them to be honest with you about their budget at that point. Because what we want to avoid at that time is a chargeback. If anything, I downsell my clients, which may be to a fault, but I don't want them to have to cancel it. So I always double check you're sure that feels comfortable. If the fridge went out, we're still going to be able to keep this coverage because otherwise it's a waste of your money. And they respect that because there's agents
Totally.
out there that'll be like, you need more, and then they cancel, and that's just a big chargeback. So,
That's so true.
yes.
That's a great visual for them. Anytime they can visualize things, then that's going to be really good. So they can visualize that shield and like holding it up, kind of for their family. It's a
Yeah.
great visual. I love doing visualizations. One of your other questions too was like getting people to like show up for the appointment and having them visualize that too is really big. When we would go out to the home, it was like, hey, I'm gonna be, pulling up to your house in a little this was me, copper colored Volkswagen Jetta. I've got dark curly hair. So that's how you'll know it's me when I arrive at your home. Now, here, I'm not going to be saying that, but what else can we visualize them? So I'm going to be calling you Monday at 5:45. You're gonna be at home during that time? Is that where you'll be? Okay, great. Okay, we're gonna be meeting on Zoom Tuesday at 5:30, and you'll be at home when we hop on that Zoom call. Is that right? Like, oh yeah, I'll be sitting at your kitchen table, or what are you gonna be doing? You know what I mean? So now they're like, okay, visualizing themselves like hopping on this Zoom call with us. They're gonna, have their computer, phone, like, how do you get on Zoom? Do you do that on your phone, or do you do that on a laptop? They're actually like envisioning themselves. Oh, I guess I'll get on my laptop, and like that's how I'll meet with this person. Oh, fine. Like they're visualizing it now. So that's a really good thing.
So good.
I
Kyle.
have one quick thing I wanted to say just to like, I don't know, kind of encapsulate our mindset and our posture around this topic. And it's again, serving our client well at the end of the day is what this comes down to and getting things across the finish line, getting things approved, right? So like picture this, you guys. You have strep throat and you are feeling horrible and you go to the doctor
Mm.
and they say, "Hey, let's try this. Let's see if this works." Like, I'm going to prescribe some random medication, and you're like, "Okay, well, hopefully it works." Like, you really should know this. Like, I think you should know what you're going to be giving me to knock this thing out of the park. Like, that wouldn't make you feel good as a person going to a doctor, and they're just like, "Yeah, let's try it. Let's see what happens."
Hmm.
Right? Like, take that posture. Like, we are professionals in this business, in this sphere, right? And to be able to come to a client and say, "This is what we're doing." It's not, "Hey, let's just push this through and like hope we can get approved." Take that same mindset and that same posture, right? So I just wanted to leave that and kind of make it tangible and think about it that way. Like we have to have that doctor mindset of, we know what we're prescribing you, we won't know what policy we're getting in place. May we have to pivot? Sure. Like maybe you have an allergy to this medication. I don't know, but like if we need to pivot, we can. But like this is what we need to start with to start this process. So just wanted to have that little bit of a mindset posture to this. We're professionals.
Good.
We're life insurance agents. We know what we're doing. We got to, you know.
Well,
So
we know more than they do too.
we
So
do.
That's true. Cool. Well, I know we're at the top of the hour, you guys. But wow, I hope you guys were taking notes because Jennifer gave you the recipe to become a Golden Pen producer today. If you guys have gaps or questions, throw them in the Slack channel. We're happy to clarify anything. I wanted to end with this story, and I was talking with someone outside of our agency on Friday who's just kind of struggling with profitability. And it's someone who is, really consistent at producing. And I was kind of like, this is shocking to me. And we were kind of like taking a deep dive into just the numbers and had a realization that this person is writing just tons of carriers because they're trying to do what's best for the client. And that agent is struggling with profitability and someone you wouldn't expect. And so it's like these tiny little simple changes and not being afraid to just pick one carrier, you guys, and run with it, learn it, and get so good at it is what will keep you here. And it is what's going to fund your business as you build this business. So be profitable. If you guys have questions, let us know. But I hope everybody has a really awesome week 1 of November. How crazy is that?
Crazy.
Crazy.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Have a wonderful week.
Have a good one, guys.
Thank you.
You guys.